House will come back to order. House will come back to order. The clerk will ring the bell. All members will report back to their seats. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Recognizing March 2nd, 2018 is National Speech and Debate Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Dania Badio McCrae for her exceptional leadership and her selfless and unwavering commitment to her community. Recognizing and commending the Junior League of Atlanta Incorporated for serving as a catalyst for community change in Atlanta. Recognizing and commending Mrs. Carrie Maureen Betty Hammond for her abiding faith and commitment to Mount Zion First Baptist Church of Smyrna. Commending Cressier. Commending the Camden County High School Boys Wrestling Team for winning the 2018 GHSA 7A State Wrestling Championship. Commending Atlanta Motor Speedway for stimulating the economy and providing entertainment and enjoyment to NASCAR fans across the state of Georgia. And recognizing March 5, 2018 is Atlanta Motor Speedway Day at the Capitol. Recognizing and commending the 2018 legislative session temporary administrative assistants for the House of Representatives on their exemplary service. Recognizing and commending the Athens-Clarke County Transit Department and its director, Butch McDuffie. Recognizing and commending the Rio Prime chapter of Kappa Sigma Fraternity at the University of North Georgia, honoring the life and memory of Charlie Adams Curry. Recognizing and commending Pat Gunn for bringing awareness to the history of slavery and emancipation. Recognizing and commending George Edward Clinton. Recognizing and commending Jake Fromm, finance major and freshman quarterback of the University of Georgia football team. Recognizing and commending Ashley Bell, honoring the life and memory of Lowell Fitzgerald Hawthorne. Recognizing and commending Reverend Veronica Lewis. Recognizing Representative Lynmore James and dedicating a road in his honor. Commending Justin Ruffin for an outstanding high school wrestling career. Commending Sunil K. Dudachika, Elite Scholars Academy Teachers of the Year, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We're back on the rules calendar. We are back on the rules calendar. The clerk will read the caption to House Bill 833.
House Bill 833 by Representative Rakestraw, the 19th, to be entitled an act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to professions and businesses so as to change provisions relating to professional land surveyors. This bill ever referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Rakestraw to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I bring before you House Bill 833, and this removes the requirement for hydrology coursework and hydraulic engineering prerequisites from the education currently required for licensure as a surveyor. And it replaces it with 3 additional surveying courses. And to address concerns over scope of practice and activities, other bill provides for exemptions from all state government, city or county governments, regional commissions, and utility authorities. And if there's no questions, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield the well.
You have no questions. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 833 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 833. The ayes are 157, the nays are 6. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The status on House Bill 818 is it is still in the Insurance Committee and will not be seen again today on a supplemental rules calendar. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 664.
House Bill 664 by Representative Teasley, the 37th, being titled an act to amend Code Section 48-7-27 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the computation of taxable net income so as to revise the deduction from income for contributions to saving trust accounts established pursuant to Article 11 of Chapter 3 of Title 20. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Teasley to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, and hello, colleagues. Today I bring before you House Bill 664. A couple of years ago, we doubled the income tax deduction, state income tax deduction, from $2,000 to $4,000 by adding a married filing jointly track. And one of our colleagues a couple of years ago asked me, hey, why don't we do something for people who are also single parents? And I said, it's certainly my desire to come back and do that in a future year. And this is that future year. With your support today, we would double the income tax deduction from $2,000 to $4,000 for single, or from $4,000 to $8,000 if you are filing a joint tax return. In 2010, a study showed that the 529 savings accounts that a student is 7 times more likely to attend a college than one who doesn't have a savings account. The average college tuition in Georgia had gone up for 83% from 2007 to 2014. So the goal of this measure is simply to encourage timely financial planning for higher education by allowing families to save more of their own money. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions and ask for your consideration.
You have some questions?
Yes, sir.
Do you yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Chairman Beverly to your left for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
To my friend, yes.
How does a federal tax apply to this bill, and will it be for primary and secondary education as well, not just for college?
Okay. So he's referring to the tax bill that passed in December in the federal level, and on the website of the the Georgia 529 Savings Plan, it reads, recently enacted legislation provides that beginning in 2018, qualified higher education expenses also includes tuition expenses up to $10,000 per year per beneficiary in connection with enrollment and attendance at an elementary or secondary public or private school. So yes, it can be used in that regard. Whether there are additional regulations put in place to that is going to be up to them. But yes, in a general sense, yes.
Do you further yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Wilkerson to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Absolutely.
I know we discussed this a little bit earlier, but I noticed the fiscal note adding on to the chairman's question. It does not take in consideration the impact of the federal tax change. And I know you touched on that briefly, but my understanding is that the fact that you can now use it for K through 12, that it would be highly recommended that anybody in this state that has children that are in private school would move money into a 529 plan, take the state deduction, and then the next year use it to pay for their college, because that would be a correct use of it. But this fiscal note does not at all take that into consideration. Do you know why it does not?
I can't speak for the Department of Audits on what they consider. They took the legislation that was before them, so no, I can't speak to that. I don't know.
Okay, does the gentleman further yield?
Absolutely.
Because it does say that it does not take into consideration any federal changes, but now I looked at the same study that you did, and it did say that 47% of those that take advantage of the 529 plans make over $150,000. Is there a reason that we would continue to extend that limit if it's benefiting those in the highest tax bracket?
Well, I can say in response to that, number one, that's not what motivates me. My goal is to incentivize families to save more of their own money to prepare for their children's future. The average size of accounts on these in Georgia is $16,000. The average size, of which 74% of the people who have these savings accounts are at that amount or lower. As I think about my own life, having never achieved the income amount that you're talking about, when my children were small, I started putting the minimum in at $25 a month because that's all I could afford. And so I think anytime we can have an opportunity to extend, we have a chance here to extend the opportunity for families to save more, and I would say that every dollar they save now is a dollar they don't have in loans later.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. And with that, I would ask for your favorable consideration, and I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Chair recognizes the minority leader of the House, Leader Trammell, to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I know we're getting close to lunch, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet. But if you look at the analysis by the Fiscal Research Center about who this bill impacts and who it helps, you'll see that in the first paragraph of that, it has a breakdown of the number of accounts annually that have deposits between $2,000 and $8,000 in 2016. And that was 28% of all Georgia 529 plans. And then it also goes on to say that 5.7% in addition to that had annual deposits in excess of $8,000. So what that means is more than 2/3 of the people that are using 529 plans contribute less than $2,000, which is where the credit is now. So this measure is aimed at that 28.7% and that 5.7% who are already saving. They don't need further incentive to save for college. They're doing it already. It's not helping those 2/3 that aren't getting to the 2,000. Furthermore, this bill does nothing to incentivize people who presently don't use 529s to use 529s. So when we're talking about what we're doing, we are subsidizing the education experience for those who don't need a government subsidy. That's what this bill does. Furthermore, in light of the federal tax reform, we're opening the door wider to private school subsidy with state dollars. That's not good policy for Georgia. I urge colleagues to reject this subsidization of education experience for those who don't need it. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 664 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. What purpose does Representative Teasley rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that this passed unanimously out of Ways and Means?
If the gentleman so states.
And further parliamentary inquiry?
State your inquiry.
2 years ago, almost to the day, this House voted 165 to 0 and to extend it from 2,000 to 4,000. Isn't that also true?
If the gentleman so states.
you.
What purpose does Representative Wilkerson rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that I joined with those that voted in support of that bill 2 years ago?
If the gentleman so states, I'm sure he recalls.
Thank you.
Those in favor of the bill are voting aye. Those opposed are voting no. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 664, the ayes are 111, the nays are 51. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. House Bill 793 will be postponed to the next legislative day. If you have pages and wish to have photographs with them, be bringing them down to the rostrum immediately. What purpose does Chairman Allen Powell rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to be recognized for a motion.
State your motion.
I move that the House Senate Bill 319 be moved from House Public Safety, Homeland Security to the House Insurance Committee. Both chairmen have discussed it and are in agreement.
Chairman Powell moves that Senate Bill 319 be withdrawn from the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee and recommitted to the Insurance Committee. The clerk will read the caption.
Senate Bill 319 by Senator Albers, the 56th, Mullis, the 53rd, Gooch, the 51st, Miller, the 49th, Dugan, the 30th, and others, being entitled an act to enact the Consolidation of Fire Safety Services in Georgia Act.
On the gentleman's motion that Senate Bill 319 be withdrawn from the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee and recommitted to the Insurance Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. What purpose does Chairman Setzler rise?
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to be recognized to make a motion.
State your motion.
I'd like to make a motion that the rules be temporarily suspended, that a bill might be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of the House be temporarily suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears none. The clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Setzler of the 35th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 6 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to sexual offenses so as to revise the crime of sexual assault by persons whose supervisory or disciplinary authority.
There was no objection to Chairman Setzler's motion. The bill is assigned to the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee. On Senate Bill 319, that bill was assigned to the Insurance Committee. What purpose does Representative Cox rise?
To make a motion, Mr. Speaker.
State your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move the House rules be temporarily suspended so that a House resolution proposing a constitutional amendment along with its enabling legislation House bill be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of the House be temporarily suspended to allow a House resolution and a companion House bill be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Is there objection? The chair hears none. The clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House resolution by Representative Cox, the 108th, proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide for additional penalties or fees for offenses involving criminal or traffic laws to be used for student and school safety measures. Unnumbered House bill by Representative Cox, the 108th, be entitled an act to amend Title 15, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to courts so as to create the Student and School Safety Fund Commission.
Public Safety and Homeland Security. What purpose does Chairman Reinders rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make a motion, please.
State your motion.
I ask the rules be temporarily suspended of the House so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Chairman Reinders has moved that the rules of the House be temporarily suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee. Is there objection? Is there objection? Clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Reinders, the 152nd to be titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to elections and primaries generally so as to revise the dates for advance voting.
There is no objection to the gentleman's motion. The bill is assigned to the Governmental Affairs Committee. All right, we're going on to announcements here shortly. If you have an announcement, make your way to the front of the chamber and be prepared. Chair recognizes Chairman Beverly for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In an effort to keep the minority caucus informed, we will be meeting immediately upon adjournment, room 506 CLOB. It'll be a very brief meeting, so please, immediately upon adjournment, room 506 CLOB, minority caucus. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Coleman for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Education Committee, there will be a very short Education Committee meeting up in the fourth floor of the Capitol, 416, immediately after we adjourn.
Chair recognizes Representative Beasley Teague for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would just like to say that we have had guests here today from the National Organization of Black Legislative Women, and I appreciate all your consideration while they were here today. And we also swore in Representative Sandra Scott on the executive board. Thank you. Bless you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Alan Powell for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the men and women that serve on the House Public Safety Homeland Security Committee, we're going to have a brief committee meeting immediately on adjournment in LOB 606, and try to be there, please.
Chair recognizes Representative Gardner for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The City of Atlanta delegation will meet in 6:05 in about 15 minutes. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Setzler for an announcement.
The Setzler Subcommittee of Judiciary Non-Civil will be meeting in room 132 immediately upon adjournment. 132 Capitol immediately upon adjournment.
Chair recognizes Representative Abel Mabel Thomas for an announcement.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, and members of the body. The announcement I have to make is that this weekend in Atlanta, it's about 600 or more African American women that are in town at the Westland Hotel, and the conference starts today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And some of the speakers that will be participating will be, some of you know actress Cicely Tyson, a former member of this body, State Representative Stacey Abrams will be speaking as a keynote. There's expected Congresswoman Maxine Waters to be at this event as well. And so it's this today, Friday through Sunday, and I will be doing a workshop on Campaign 101 at 4 o'clock if y'all want to come hear me. But you're invited, and it is a fee, but I can get most of you in if you really want to go. All right, thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk will read the caption to a privilege resolution.
Honoring the life memory of the victims of the earthquake in Taiwan, commending and congratulating Gladys S. Jackson, recognizing and commending Anna Lee Ashley for her selection to the inaugural Miller Leadership Academy class, and for the other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move this House stand in recess until 3 p.m. today and then stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Monday, February the 26th, 2018.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be in recess until 3 p.m. this afternoon, at which time we would stand adjourned until Monday, February 26th at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes clearly have it. This House will be in recess until 3 p.m. today, whereupon we would stand adjourned until Monday, February the 26th at 10 a.m.